EU prepares to defend itself as Trump kneels before Putin. European leaders have finally realized that when the self-proclaimed leader of the free world stops sending military aid and intelligence, they might have to step up. Who knew? In a historic emergency summit, EU leaders are expected to approve an $800 billion defense plan, because apparently, watching Trump grovel at Putin's feet was the wake-up call they needed. Ukraine's President Zelensky, who somehow still has the patience for this nonsense, arrived at the summit to thank Europe for not abandoning Ukraine the way Trump did. Meanwhile, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called this moment a watershed for Europe. Translation? We ignored this problem long enough, and now it's biting us. Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen summed up the new reality. Spend, spend, spend on defense and deterrence. Because nothing says stability like realizing too late that democracy isn't free. But of course, there's always that one guy at the party who ruins everything. Enter Hungary's Viktor Orbán, threatening to veto EU aid to Ukraine because he still believes kissing up to Trump will keep him safe. The EU's Grand Summit was called after Trump's little playdate with Putin and his Oval Office humiliation of Zelensky, proving once again that Trump is less of a world leader and more of a mafia boss shaking down democracies for his own amusement. The $800 billion defense plan includes a $150 billion loan scheme, because even in times of crisis, the EU can't resist paperwork. The remaining $650 billion loosening fiscal rules to make room for defense spending, because apparently, European leaders just realized that armies cost money. Germany, under its incoming chancellor Friedrich Merz, has finally decided to abandon decades of self-imposed economic restraint, proving that even fiscal hawks will throw the rulebook out the window when faced with an existential threat. Meanwhile, Emmanuel Macron is pushing the idea that Europe might need to rely on France's nuclear arsenal because with Trump burning alliances, the nuclear safety net is looking more like a tattered hammock. Poland's Donald Tusk is more optimistic, arguing that Russia is in an arms race it's doomed to lose, just like the Soviet Union. But that only happens if Europe actually arms itself. While EU leaders scramble to send more military aid, anywhere from 20 billion to 40 billion, Hungary, ever the loyal Putin puppet, is trying to block it. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that one stubborn autocrat can always slow down a room full of people trying to do the right thing. Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda didn't sugarcoat it. It's lasting too long, our inability to take decisions. You don't say. While the EU dithers, Ukraine bleeds, and Trump sets the stage for a world where democracies have to fight for their survival without the US. If that sounds familiar, it's because we've seen this movie before. It didn't end well the last time either. And speaking of things that don't end well, let's talk about America's bald eagle. Once a proud symbol of freedom, it now represents a country where a man who tried to overthrow democracy still walks free and openly sides with dictators. Maybe it's time to hand the eagle over to Germany. They're the ones actually standing up for democratic values now. Trump clearly doesn't need it anymore. If anything, his new mascot should be a rubber stamp, since that's all he is for Putin's agenda. This is the moment to act. Call the Capitol switchboard at 202-224-3121 and tell your senator to stop Trump's authoritarian dreams before it's too late. Or sit back and watch history repeat itself. The choice is yours. Like and subscribe for more. EU